behind the time. Let's take a look at the junior doctor strike. As I say, 72 walkout beginning in England today. The issues being pay conditions and pensions. As they do that, the BMA, their union, have launched an advertising campaign saying that some NHS staff could earn more serving coffee at Pret-a-Manger. They say that Pret-a-Manger has announced it will pay up to £14.10 per hour, citing a junior doctor making just £14.09 an hour. Is that really the case? Dr. Layla McCay is Director of Policy at the NHS Confederation. Thank you for coming on the programme. Just before I come to this issue of pay, let me ask you about what the effect of the strike in England has been so far. How have we been looking across hospitals in this country? Good afternoon.
Hello. I think there's been quite a lot of variation that we have heard from our members over the course of the day. Obviously, everybody has been working very, very hard to prepare for this disruption, but it is quite difficult to prepare for something that is so significant, so many people involved in all the way across the whole country, and of course going on for 3 days. So really, people didn't quite know who was going to be out on strike until the day started. So in some places, it's going okay. The plans that have been put in place to make sure that patients are kept safe and the most urgent care is prioritised is happening, although in many cases some appointments and non-urgent operations have had to be postponed. In other places, obviously, it is a bit more difficult. It sort of depends on what other capacity is available to be brought in for it. Everyone's working incredibly hard.
No, I'm sure. How is it at all helpful in the running, particularly of accident and emergency care, to make the more experienced doctors have to come to the shop floor to do the jobs that junior doctors have vacated for the next 72 hours?
Well, it's certainly the case that in places like accident and emergency, everybody pulls together, everybody has their role. And when you're asking more senior doctors, for example, to cover for more junior doctors, that's okay. But then, of course, these doctors are not then able to do their job. And, that need for cover does go up the line. And, of course, those doctors will then need some kind of time off in lieu after working particularly out of hours to cover junior doctors' work. So the concern is that while the industrial action itself is 72 hours, actually the impact will be seen across the rest of the week and beyond.
I wonder then what you make of the advert by the BMA saying that junior doctors actually earn less than someone serving coffee at Pret-a-Manger. What's your response to that, Doctor?
Well, I've not seen the advert, but certainly it is the case that one of the reasons junior doctors are taking this industrial action, which nobody would do lightly, is because of concerns that their wages have not kept up with cost of living and inflation. So certainly that is a big concern for junior doctors across the whole country. It's not the only reason that they're striking, because of course they're also very concerned about working conditions and their ability to deliver the care that they feel is best for patients. But certainly that is a big concern, and what we really want to see now is the government and the trade union getting together and having a proper conversation to come to a resolution here.
Of course.
Because this is serious disruption and it really needs to be resolved.
Understand that, completely understand that. We've talked to junior doctors and to the union about the pay that they say is 26% off from where it was 10 years ago. But the idea of a comparison to someone serving coffee in a cafe just doesn't hold any water at all when you take into account the payment for junior doctors, rightly, for overtime, the pension contributions. The package as a whole is considerably more, on average, than someone serving in a Pret. It sort of defeats the object of the exercise, doesn't it?
It is the case that obviously it's comparing apples and oranges. There's all sorts of different qualifications, different experiences, different levels of responsibility. But as you say, there are quite a range of different awards for out of hours care and all those sorts of things. So yeah, it is a bit more complex than just comparing like with like. I'm sure the BMA have thought about that, but certainly it is the case that paying junior doctors is complex, and those complexities will have to be taken into account when figuring out what the next steps are.
Good to talk to you. Thank you for your time. Dr. Layla McCay, Director of Policy at the NHS Confederation.